Very first map right here, and it is going to be Flyback by Tona. Remember, this is the very exact map order as step 1 of the Trackmania Grand League, which was played last Sunday, where we saw Papu being absolutely imperial. Even though he had a good fight with Carl Jr., it was Papu who indeed came out on top in that battle. So yeah, looking pretty good indeed. We don't have any reference times for the Open Grand League, hence why we don't see any fastest lap. I could have taken that from the Grand League, from the actual TMGL, but I would prefer separating OGL from TMGL in this instance. Anyways, Flyback, of course, being characterized by this reactor boost identity. In fact, this is the first reactor boost here. Make sure to pitch your car to the right at the exit of the dirt and get a really nice glide and land smoothly at the end of it onto the grass uphill. Then brake before the pillars and initiate the drift towards the right-hand side with the corner that goes tighter and tighter with a really tight hairpin following that towards the left. Then jump towards the left, release a fair bit to catch directly the reactor boost, and jump over that chicane onto CP number 7, then onto the dirt CP 8. Cut between the cactus and the wall, and you can see it's pretty easy to mess that up and catch the cactus. Then it conditions the speed for the bobsleigh section right here, which leads then onto the bumper road, onto the inside for checkpoint number 10. And then the identity coming up right here. Throw your car into a 180 in midair, release a fair bit, then reaccelerate to avoid the reset ring, and then make sure to have enough speed and make sure to have good aim to get to the start finish line to cross it and start start another lap in the map. OTW is Otterworld, Rioter. Team Otterworld. The team from Glast, who's casting for them, actually. Good luck, have fun, everyone. Map 1 of 6 of the Open Grand League Step 1 is go. Be in the top 16, you can see that. Here we go. Captain, it is actually Cap, formerly of Gamers Origin, Boris, if you didn't know that. Anyways, we're underway already, and we're head back to the helicap for the first time. Rozzy already having a bit of a troubled start, and Binks touching a bit on the inside is down in last place with Rozzy and Mutta as we're heading into the first reactor boost section. Nicely done here by pretty much all the players, with Binks teetering a little bit at the landing, but still manages to make it through. Dark, Dolfault, and Snow, 1, 2, 3. It seems as though we got a Otterworld armada here in the top 5. There are 4 players in the top 5, with Ligu being the only one to head them up, with Snow being overtaken by Ligu for first place, Grenady in P6, Panda in P7, Katong 8th, Otak 9th, and Carl completed the top 10. Oh, we saw a huge mistake from Dark, and also Link as well, who's down in last place. Meanwhile, Carl has been promoted up to 5th place. We see a 1, 2, 3 from Otterworld. Now it's a 1, 2 from Otterworld as Snow clutches the top of the barrier on the ice block. Xiaolik and Dolfault, Legu, Panda, and Carl, your top 5 at the moment as we head into the identity for the first time in this race. Xiaolik going for a low landing. It seems as though Xiaolik will be able to emerge in first position, or will Legu be able to overtake him? Xiaolik will be able to make it through, but Panda has fallen down. He's been forced to respawn. Xiaolik takes the fastest lap with a 110.948 in his credit. Remember, there are 2 bonus points for the fastest lap available, very much like in TMGL. So yeah, Xiaolik in first place in front of his teammate Dolfault, Legu in third, Carl up into 4th. The 2006 World Champion is looking good. Cap and Grenady, the 2 new contenders, in 5th and 6th. Mutta is up in P7, the Australian looking pretty good so far in his first outing, although Carl has made a mistake that valued him to be demoted down into P7 as Mutta, Grenady, and Cap are past him. Meanwhile, Xiaolik and Dolfault are holding strong and running in formation 1 and 2 at the moment in front of Legu, who's going to try to catch him back up and try to overtake him as quickly as he can, but with a bit of a touch on the inside, sending him flying towards the outside. It's going to be Xiaolik making the first mistake. Mutta having a bit of a slowdown. Wazil, meanwhile, from Game Ward, is up into 8th position, actually 7th position, making that is. Dolfault as well has made a mistake, so Legu is now up in the lead. Cap in P2, Grenady in P3, and Dolfault in P4, with Carl in P5 at the moment. As we're heading into the identity, as we exit the identity, Dolfault with less speed than Carl will get overtaken by him, but Carl with a pretty bad landing will see Binks get back into his clutches. Binks with the fastest lap as well, sub 110 for Binks with a 109.129. We could very well see a sub 109 as well with one of these players at the moment. Legu pulling away from Cap 0.8 of a second between Legu and Cap in first and second, and then 4/10 down. Actually, Grenady has made a bit of a mistake and gets overtaken by both Dofalt and Carl, so he's down from P3 to P5 in an instant. Meanwhile, Binks is in a battle of his own with Wozil from Team Game Ward at the moment. The Exalti players, this is the highest ranked Exalti player at the moment. The currently Link is down in last place, 19 seconds down on the leader. Remember, there's a 30-second timeout, finish timeout after the 8th person, so in this case, Chalik runs across the line, and even though Chalik has much more speed than Dofalt in the ice rank and thus sits in front of him, Dofalt is falling down even from the top 3 down into P9. So yeah, not really looking, not really a strong, really poor bounce stakes line for Dofalt. As meanwhile, Carl is battling it out with Binks for 3rd place and has the advantage over Binks at the line, but he will be seeing Binks to try and go as fast as he can. 108.193, 1 second flat, faster than the previous lap record. Snow looking pretty strong on pace, currently in P7, so he might be able to catch some of, might be able to be challenging for a couple of more positions in the next little bit, as Binks had a pretty sketchy landing at the reactor boost grass section, and he gets overtaken by Grenady and Chalik as well, so he's down in P6 and now falling into the clutches, and now he's going to be falling into the clutches of Snow in P7, is trying to make up as much places as he can. Cap is down in P3, and so the 2006 World Champion Super Kalouf is up into P2. Remember, Game World Cup 3 winner, 3rd place, 2nd place, or runner-up in the PK arc. He's looking really, really strong out here in this new game. He's having a new lease on life, and he's trying to catch up Legu. He's currently 7/10 down on the leader. He's around 3/10 up on Cap in 3rd place, and it seems that the Binks is falling further and further down in the leaderboard as he plummeted down to 12th place. As we handle the identity for the leaders. Oh, Carl has messed up his landing. He manages to save it somewhat, but he will be losing 3rd place for sure to Chalik and 4th place to Grenady, so he's down in P5 in a few short moments. Meanwhile, Binks currently sitting in P12. He's missed the identity again, so he's been forced to take the safe way. So Enner and Razi are blasting by him, and he's down in P15. The 2 Exalti players are not really having a strong showing at the moment. Thankfully, this is only map 1, and thus they do not lose anything, even though they haven't accumulated anything. Meanwhile, Mudda battling it out for P9 at the moment with Snow. Remember, this is his very first outing in the Open Grand League. He did not participate, I think, in the previous season, so it's going to be interesting to see how the Australian performs at the moment. Grenady and Carl battling it out for P4 at the moment. The wheel player versus the keyboard player versus the pad player, as Dofalt joins into the fight for P4 with Carl just up the road. Onto the penultimate lap then. Legu in front of Cap by half a second. Cap with a bit of protracted hang time here at the exit of the ice rink, and thus he will be seeing the gap extend to around 7/10 as a result of that slight mistake. Thankfully, there's still one final lap to go and one more chance potentially to catch back up to Legu and overtake him for the lead here and the juicy 20 points that come with it. Legu manages to get the landing perfect. Chalik with more speed than Cap will overtake him for P2 at the line. Meanwhile, Dofalt in P4, Grenady and Carl in 5th and 6th, Wozil 7th, Panda 8th, Snow in P9, Mudda in P10, Otak 11th, Enner 12th, Dark 13th. Actually, Enner overtaken by Dark here with less speed for Enner, so Enner 13th. 14th for Enner as Arazi tries to overtake him. Binks and Link are down in 15th and 16th. So it's going to be looking pretty close for Link to try and reach the finish line before the end of the finish timeout. Meanwhile, at the front, Legu, Chalik, and Cap 1, 2, 3. Dofalt, Grenady, and Super Kalo 4th, 5th, and 6th. And currently Carl fighting off the assaults of Wozil for the benefit of P6 and actually catching back up to Grenady, who had a pretty slow exit of that hairpin. And he overtakes him at the the second reactor boost part for P5. Grenady down in P6, Wozil in P7 has a slowdown a fair bit. Oh, but both Carl and Grenady touch the cactus, and with the really supreme speed compared to those two, Wozil moves up 2 places into P5. Dofalt still remains in P4, Cap in P3, as we're heading into the identity for the final time for all of these players right here. Legend seems to have that in the bag. Let's actually check in the perspective of the leader, Chalik in P2. Actually, he has less speed than Chalik. Chalik will snipe him at the line. Chalik with a supreme identity over Legend wins over the Frenchman in 2nd place, Cap in 3rd, Dofalt 4th, Snow up in 5th place in the end, Wozil 6th, Super Kalouf 7th, Grenady 8th, Panada 9th, Otak 10th, Mudda 11th, Dark finishing in P12 in front of Binks, who moved back up. No, Binks has failed it. Razi 13th, Enner 14th, Binks down in 15th in the end. And okay, finish timeout doesn't seem to be being affecting too much. There was no 30 seconds, but indeed 2 minutes. And Link down in P16. The Team France captain in Trackmania has not really had a good start to this step. He's down in last place and only scores 1 single point. Meanwhile, Snow with the 11 points for the 9 points for 5th place, and the fastest lap moves ahead of Dofalt, his teammates, in P4. Meanwhile, Chalek is first with 20 points, 14 points for Legu in second, and Cap third with 10. Cap third with 12, sorry. As we move on to map 2 of the step, which is going to be Eurostep by Table, a map where we saw a good fight, as I said a little bit earlier, between Spam and Carl Jr. in the opening laps, but which ultimately saw the Canadian bag his first map win of the year in the Grand League. So, first checkpoints through here. This is where we saw Papu have a bit of a wide exit and full stop picking into the wall, therefore putting pay to an amazing effort of him to catch back up to the leaders early on in the map, then onto the dirt section of the map, which we're currently seeing being negotiated by all the players. Then checkpoint 5 onto a small bit of road, then tight section, right, then left. Make sure to get a wide exit to get as much speed as we can. Then onto the transfer jump, Tony Hawk it. Make sure to Tony Hawk it really much, not do like Vince and be a little bit too low on the airtime. Make sure not to go too low to make it through. Then section of hills right here. Keep your car, wiggle a little bit, and go diagonally to keep your car on the grass. Keep your car on the dirt. Then onto this jump right here, around 270 kilometers an hour to clear it pretty much perfectly here for Legu, with a bit of a clearance for the top CP. 2 seconds slower than Team GL. Yeah, it seemed like we saw 106. Then 1, 2, 3 jumps negotiated here for Legu as we head onto this 4th and final jump onto the dirt section, which leads up to the identity, which is a series of high-speed slaloms. No drift here on this one. 400 release, 400 release, 400 release, pretty much for the best players, although we do see sometimes 400, 400, 350 for some of the players, and then onto the long U-turn across the line to start a new lap. So, opening phase, map 2 is underway, ladies and gentlemen. We are again in the top 16 scores, everything, and no points are lost phase in this first step of the Open Grand League. Onto the looping, we're currently seeing that it is indeed Razi who came out really good, but Panda a bit all over the place compared to the rest of the field. Tries to get as much speed as he can for the catching up to the rest of the pack, but he's down in P13. Everybody remaining fairly grouped as we head back to the helicam for the moment here. Less than a second between first and last at the moment, with NR currently bringing up the rear. Ooh, nobody touching so far. I thought I saw a touch somewhere, but indeed there was no harm done. Grenadier, Legu, and Snow, 1, 2, 3 at the moment. So we head onto the transfer jump. Will someone fail it? No, nobody will fail it. Legu retaking the lead from Grenadier, Razi, and Otak battling it out for second. Dofalt and Panda battling it out for P4 or 5 at the moment. Grenadier having made a mistake, and he's down in last place. He's got less speed than both NR and Link. And yeah, unfortunately for the German, that is going to be pretty costly. Panda, Otak, Legu, and Mada currently in the top 4. Mada looking really strong, currently in 3rd place in this opening lap, heading into the jump section, and making inroads on Otak, even trying to challenge for P2 here. Going for a bit of a riskier line, a bit of a safer line potentially. Mada in the dirt line. Carl moving back up into the contention for the top 3 fight. Legu releasing a bit much. Mada releasing a bit more than Legu, so Legu keeps his place. Meanwhile, Otak inherits the lead and crosses the line in 1st place in front of Cap, Binks, and Carl. 1, 2, 3, 4, and Mada in 5th place. 126.505, the benchmark after lap 1 for Otak, currently leading. Binks having a bit of a wide exit here before the loop, and Mada having less speed than the rest of the pack, and he gets overtaken by Dofalt, Dark, Snow, and Co, and gets promoted down to P9. Ooh, one of the Auto World guys actually had a bit of a moment, and that was Snow, down into P12 as he gets overtaken by his own teammate Dofalt. Link is too far down, and Panda is the very first retirement to deplore. I just seen this. Yeah, indeed, Panda has DNF'd and will not score any points in this map. Meanwhile, Otak and Binks are going at it for 1st and 2nd. Legu in P3 keeps tabs on the battle for the lead at the moment. Carl, Razi, and Cap battling it out for P4 and trying to catch back up to that top 3 train at the moment, led by Binks and Otak. Heading on to CP9, Binks clearing it barely, but having a bit of a dodgy landing. He lets Otak through, and now he's under threat from Cap, who overtakes him for P3 even momentarily. Razi is going to be the next one to try and catch back up to Binks with P6 going for Super Califia. I did see that Deluxe, but yeah, I did see that a little bit too late. Dofal getting overtaken by Doc and Nena. Meanwhile, Mada is trying to catch back up to the rest of these guys, trying to keep it into the top ranking positions, but he's got a bit of a wide line through there, so he's being forced to release a bit too much. P10 P10 goes down for Mada in favor of Wozil, the team game mode player, currently looking pretty good out here in for a first outing here. Meanwhile, 122.295 for the leader Legu, who's trying to make a breakaway from Otak, who's not letting him go. He's just 2 tenths away from Legu at the moment. Before the tenths further down, we find Binks in third place under the threats and assaults of Cap in P4 right now. Razi in P5. What happened to Carl? He seemed to have made a mistake and dropped a lot of speed in one of the preceding areas, and he's down in P12. The 2006 World Champion not looking good in terms of point scoring opportunities for this particular map, at the very least, ending into lap 3. Meanwhile, let's actually check in on some of the people here further down the field. Mudda up to P9 as a result of the mistake from Carl. Up ahead are Ener, Default, and Dark, as well as yeah, the rest of the top 5 fights. So yeah, maybe a top 6 position is on the cards for Mudda at the towards the end of this race, if he's able to keep up with Default, Dark, and Ener at the moment. Razi currently in P5, 1.3 seconds down. The leader keeps tabs on the top 3 position fight between Binks and Cap. Currently, Binks having the advantage over the KWK esport player. Ooh, Razi having almost a moment and almost not being able to stick the landing here before the slalom section, but he manages to get it. And there, with much more speed than Dark in the slalom, overtakes Dark for P6. Meanwhile, Mudda still looking to try and catch back up to the top 6 fight, with Default and Dark now battling against each other for the benefit of P7 and as much points as they can. 122.268 for Legu in first place, currently trying to pull away again from Otak, and he's up to 6 tenths between himself and second position. So Legu doing the job right now, doing the work he needs to secure himself from attacks from Otak. Meanwhile, Cap and Binks again are locked in a really tight battle for third position at the moment. Cap with the Cap with a much less smooth drift in this in the pre-transfer section compared to Binks. Binks moving up to P3. Although Binks and Otak had less speed in the transfer than Cap, so yeah, Cap moving back up into contention for P2 in here. Meanwhile, Mudda up into P7, overtaking Dark and Snow. Carl back up to P10 in here, being able to overtake Wozil here, and yeah, Dark currently P8 trying to catch back up to Mudda. Meanwhile, the battle for P5 between Ener and Default. Ener making a really good comeback here to get into the top 5 position at the moment. Binks having a bit of a lonely race in P4. Meanwhile, Cap and Otak battling it out for P2 at the moment. Otak having a small advantage over Cap, but maybe not for long, as we head on to the identity here for the 4th time in this step. 430, oh, releasing to 390, maybe releasing a bit too much for Cap, but he does it just enough because Otak was in a similar conundrum, and so Cap moving up to P2 across the line, and Legu, meanwhile, pulling away again to 8 tenths between himself and second position. 122.897 for Cap on this lap, still a few tenths away from the lap record of Legu at the moment. Otak and Cap in again in the battle for P2 right now. Otak trying to retake that second place from Cap, but it's not looking good at the moment, with Cap having a much better pace advantage. Meanwhile, Binks is in P4, 2 seconds, 9 tenths down on this fight, and also Default a little bit further behind in the top 5. 6th place for Dark, Ener overtaking Mudda for the benefit of P7, so Mudda down in P8. Oh, what happened to Ener? He's had a bit of a high line on the transfer jump, so he's down in P8 again as Mudda overtakes him. Dark is now the next target for Mudda. The P6 is at stake here, and the points that come with it. Meanwhile, at the front, Legu has made it. He's moved out of the proverbial DRS zone, even though there isn't DRS in Trackmania. 1 second of a gap, even more than 1 second, 1.2 seconds between himself and Otak in second position, but Otak fails to stick the landing and actually has a really awkward ending, and thus Otak is out of it, of this particular map at the penultimate lap. Can we get some Fs for Otak with here with that landing? Binks promoted up to P3, Default in P4, Dark in P5, and Mudda up to P6 as a result of those shenanigans. Ener 7th, Otak in 8th, down in 8th, Carl is in P9, Razi in P10 as we head on to the final lap for the leaders. Legu and Cap in 1 and 2. Legu with the 1:29.982 for the fastest lap at the moment. Cap in second place, 1.2 seconds down on the leader. Binks, 2.2 seconds. What happened to Legu? He failed to jump. I completely missed that. Cap inherits the lead in front of Binks, Default, and Dark. Mudda moving up to P5. The Australia looking pretty good for a strong finish here. Legu down to P6 and even down to P8 as Ener and Otak overtake him, and now potentially their threat from Super Carlo. He is lucky that this is not a points loss map, because that could have been devastating devastating for the chances of Legu right here. Meanwhile, Chalik, our leader after map 1, is not looking hot on paper, so we might see a lead change here occurring with Cap in the lead. Binks 1.2 seconds down, so he might just bide his time and secure this finish for second position with the 14 points that do come with it, which is better than nothing. Meanwhile, Legu has not made it stick, and Carl is now fighting him off for P8. Meanwhile, at the front, let's actually check in if everything is hunky-dory for Cap. 1.3 seconds ahead of Binks in second position, then 1.2 seconds behind Binks. We find Default in P3, Moda up to P4, potentially a podium finish for this map ahead of the Australian, but it doesn't seem like it. Cap, meanwhile, will win the race in first place. Then we got Binks in second position, Default will stay in third place, Moda in P4, Dark in P5, Enter 6, Carl up to P7, P8 for Legu, Razi 9th, Otak in P10, Wuzil 11th, Grenady 12th, Link 13th, Snow 14th, and Chalik is going to be crossing the finish line in the best part of 20 seconds as we get a nice game freeze right here. And we're going to have a lead change here with Cap taking the lead of the proceedings with 32 points to his credit. Legu will get the fastest lap of points at the moment, unless Chalik is able to get a faster lap than 121.982. Through the slalom he goes. He gets full stopping into one, but thankfully there is no constraint, huge time constraint. He still has a minute to go to the finish line, so he will be able to rally the finish line safely here. And there we go, P15 for Chalik. One DNF to report, that of Panda, who will not score any points as a result of that retirement. So 32 points for Cap, who moves up into the lead of the step. 2 bonus points for Legu. Default equal with Legu and Chalik for second, third, and fourth. Fifth place for Binks with 16 points as we head onto map number 3, and we're heading into stage 2, ladies and gentlemen. The midway stage of the step is upon us. We are on map number 3, which is Sidewave by Link. Sidewave by Link with the snaking section as the identity, as we already showed it in the qualifying section before qualifying section before this step. So yeah, again, let me show that to you. There we go. This is the incremented section. Road, ice, dirt, road, ice, then road, then ice. Make sure to get a good exit out of there and a good lineup to get into the finish line and start a new lap. So yeah, let's actually check in on the standings right now. You can see on the left-hand side of your screen, Cap in first place with 32, 22 points for Legu, Default, and Chalik, 1, 2, 3, 4. Binks in 5th place on 16, and then 14 points equal. We find Moda, Snow, and Carl in 6th, 7th, 8th. 9 points for Dark. Wuzil in 10th with 12 points, 11 points for NR, 12th place for Grenady and Otak in 13th place with 10 points each. 8 points for Razi in P14, Panda P15 with 5 points, and 4 points for Link in last place. So yeah, then the ice part. We saw this is the part where Riolu unfortunately had a bit of a double bunk here and gone a bit too early and full stopping into the wall, dropping him down in the depths of the bottom 8, and therefore making sure that he lost indeed 50% of his points. As we head onto the identity right now with Razi going in here. So first road section, first hairpin right there, then chuck the car in for the ice slide right here, then straighten the car before the entry to the dirt, throw it to the right side, perform a grass slide at the dirt, ice, then dirt, make sure to retrieve the grip, then onto the road, make sure to get in that good exit of the ice, keep your car straight, and then head towards the right-hand side, not the left-hand side as you saw Razi do. And here we go. Map 3 getting underway, guys. Let's go. You can see it. Bottom 8 will lose half of their points. Be in the top 8, ladies and gentlemen. The shenanigans are beginning in this Open Grand League first step as we're heading into the Helicam for the first time. The whole shot will be for Ener and Grenady 1 and 2. We see Panda also in P3 currently. Snow, Razi, and Otak bringing up the rear as we're heading into the next section, right at the platform section coming up with Grenady and Ener, Panda and Chalik 1, 2, 3, 4 at the moment. Cap and Legu 5th and 6th. We see everybody still remaining fairly grouped, less than a half a second between first and last at the moment with the reactor boost section coming up. Oh, Razi will be going too far and thus returning, and he's down in last place already. Meanwhile, we see people failing the ice slide, with Wuzil being one of the first to actually fail it, and the gaps are starting to quite a bit. Razi's 8 seconds down on the leader, so yeah, that's pretty much done and dusted, it seems like, for Razi, unless a mistake from other players happen. Meanwhile, at the front, it is Mutta, Cap, and Dofal battling it out for the lead. Cap retaking the lead from Mutta at the moment. Dofal trying to take P2 away from the Australian. And Legu also joining in the mix, so it's a top 4 fight right now as we head into the identity for the first time. Legu failing the drift here, so he's down into P4, P5, and even P6 as Link overtakes him. Panda as well, so Legu dropping places left, right, and center as Mutta is down in... Actually, he's up in the lead. Mutta leads into lap 1 with a 125.832. Snow second, Cap third, Link in P4, Dofal 5th, Celik 6th. Oh, what happened to Dofal? He's made a mistake, and thus he gets overtaken by a lot of people here. He's down in P9, Celik in P8, and you can see the battle for the top 8 is still really, really close right here. 1.61 per second between 1st and 8th, and you can see the battle is still raging on for the top 8 places, so it could be anybody's game for who will be losing, sorry, his half of his points, should I say. Meanwhile, Razi trying to catch back up to the rest of the field. It's not looking hot on paper at the moment. Everybody managing to keep on the looping right here. Carl having a bit of a really difficult high slide right here and gets overtaken by Anna, so he's down in P13. The two Beach drivers down in 12 and 13, not looking good at the moment. Meanwhile, Legu is down in the red zone, currently in P9, although Panda and Grenadier are having a bit of trouble as well, so he will be seeking to get back into the top 8 really quickly here. Meanwhile, Mutta has taken over the lead by 1.1 second from Snow in P2. Cap has made a mistake, and thus he's down in P4, battling it out with the two Autoworld drivers, which are currently sitting 2 and 3 at the moment. Snow and Celik in that order, as we're heading into the identity for the second time. Ice slide coming in, nice ice from Mutta, who gets onto the dirt with a really nice grass slide as well. The full speed player, well, one of the fastest full speed players around, even though the fastest full speed player, sorry, is looking pretty hot as well on multi-style at the moment. He takes the fastest up with 122, actually gets immediately taken away by Celik with a 122.367. Cap in P3 as we see Snow in P4, Panda, Link, Dark, and Legu up into P8. We see Grenady being the first one in the red zone to be the first to lose his points, then Binks 10th, 11th place for Carl, and Dofal, one of the early contenders, is only P13, so not looking good so far for the Belgian player from Team Otterworld. 22 points on this on the dot. He could lose. He could have 11 points before getting his points tally added. Celik and Mutta, the battle for the lead is raging on at the moment with the ice slide coming up. Nice ice slide from Celik as well as from Mutta, but Celik has a really nice slide through there, and he's overtaking the Australian Penguin into the lead as we're heading into that. But Celik, as I say, that completely chokes it and has to respawn. Yes, indeed. He clinches the pillar of the CP. He's down in P12, promoting Panda up. Everyone up one place. Panda into the P8, Binks into P9, and Grenady up into P6. It seems as though Grenady might be just safe for now. Legu as well. Panda up to P8, actually battling out with Binks for P8. Binks down in P9, Carl in P11, now into P10 for the moment with Dofal, and now you can see the top 8 is really close for the 2006 World Champion here with Panda and Binks just up the road. As Binks had a bit of a dodgy exit, he touches a bit on the inside before the dirt, but thankfully he doesn't lose too much out of it. Meanwhile, Grenady is down in P7, it seems like. Yeah, it is indeed P7, as Mutta and Snow still rage on the lead. 4/10 of a second between first and second, then 1 second down on the lead. We found Cap in third place, currently under pressure from Legu. 123.383, the fastest lap so far from Dofal, nowhere near fastest lap pace at the moment. Dofal, Binks, and Carl. Look at this, it's a battle for 9th position at the moment, and then there's going to be quite a bit of a gap. 1 second, in fact, to catch back up to Panda for the top 8 position, the one that could salvage all the points instead of making you lose 50 points, as Bata manages to make it pretty much perfectly through. Ooh, Legu has a bit of trouble in the ice slide. He's going to lose a lot of positions through there. He manages to catch it back on the road, but he's down in P7 in a few moments, and yeah, Legu down in P7, he could very well be at threat here if he continues mistakes like that, but Panda titches a bit on the snow and promotes Dofal up into P8, Binks down in P10, Carl down in P12, he's made another mistake as well, he's down in P13 now, as Celik overtakes him. Yeah, Celik has also had a huge rip that I didn't really catch on camera, really sorry. I'm trying to keep up on top of everything as we head on to the identity for the 4th time on the leaders. Mutta, ooh, that was a really late exit, allowing Snow to move through into first position. Mutta with a really slow exit of the dirt as well, allowing Dark to catch back up, although Dark has a bit of a slow exit of this dirt as well, so he's still in P3. Mutta down to P2 as Snow takes the lead from the Australian. Snow leading Mutta, Dark, and Link, who manages to get back up to P4. Cap down in P5, Grenady 6th, battling it out with Legu and Cap as well for P5. Look at this really close battle. 122.730 the fastest lap on lap 4, and it was Snow, the author of it, the leader currently, 1.2 seconds in front of Mutta, as Grenady battles out really hard with Legu and Cap for the benefit of P5. Dauphin under threat from Panda for P8. Binks down in P10 is too far away from for catching back up to the rest of the field. It's going to be a really tense battle for deciding who will keep his points and who will lose half of it. Panda currently safe from around 0.2 of a second. Legu, Grenady, and Cap going through the ice slide. Panda with a really weird ice slide, trying to catch up with more momentum with the wider line, but it doesn't pay off. So far, Panda down in P9. A bit of a touch of the ice, and Legu touches the ice too much. He's down in P9. This could be tense times at the finish. Meanwhile, Default, or Snow rather, is pulling away slowly and steadily from Mutta. Mutta is now down 2 seconds on the leader, although he's currently 1.6 seconds ahead of Dark, so he's got not much to worry about at the moment, at least. So yeah, Mutta looking to score a pretty decent second place finish in this map, with Snow currently romping to victory, potentially with the final lap coming up for the Frenchman as we're crossing the line. 121.933, sub 22 for Snow, who moves up to 2.1 seconds ahead of Mutta in second position. 1.7 seconds further down we find Dark in third place. Link in P4 trying to catch up to Dark. 121.933. You can see that on the bottom right hand of the right corner of the screen for Snow. Sorry for the stammering and stuttering sometimes. Cap in P5 has managed to hang on onto P5. Dauphin in P6 is a little bit too far behind to make an attack on Cap. Grenady as well. Now he's under threat from Legu for P7. Meanwhile, Panda tries to keep a tab, keep an eye on that battle for P7. And as if anyone makes a mistake here, that could be P8 on the cards for the Frenchman here. Legu and Grenady making a good ice slide there, but Panda with a much better ice slide compared to the two. He's going to catch ever so slightly back up to the rest of the field. Touching a bit of the Snow, maybe touching a bit too much. Grenady with a supreme exit, and Panda, that might be the ceiling deal here for Panda, with that small touch on the outside preventing him from catching back up to Grenady. Grenady is now a second up on Panda in ninth position as the leader comes towards the end of his final lap. Let's check in with the leader at the moment, Snow, who's going to take the victory. First map win of the season for Snow as well. Map 3 is to him with the 121.933. Then Mutta second, Dark completes the top 3. Link in P4, Cap in P5, Default 6. Legu 7th, Grenady will finish in P8. Panda will lose 50% of his points, the first with P9, Tialik 10th. Ender will finish in P11 in front of Binks in P12. 2006 World Champion Carl will finish in P13, Razi in P14, Wuzil in P15, and Otak, who's coming through the identity now, is going to be heading towards P16. Carl lamenting his performance on what he reckoned was his best map. By the way, if you enjoyed the stream and want to see more like this and be notified whenever I go live, then make sure to hit the bell and to follow and hit the bell. And if you want to support me more, a bit further than with follows, you can either subscribe through Twitch Prime, which is completely free, or with a Prime Tier 1 sub, which is only $5 or €5 a month, or with September, €4 a month. Make sure to take advantage of September to sub here. Then you can also send me a few bits my way, or maybe make a small donation with the link in the bio. It's of course not always not necessary, but it is always appreciated. That's the word I was gonna say. Prepare your yep trees, people. We are on map 4, Tree Jump by Nadeo. The map which we saw Papu being absolutely dominant, being the first and only player to dip below the 117s with a 116.997. Absolutely insane pace from the Gamers Origin player at the time, as we're going to be seeing how the Open Grand League fields stack up on pace compared to the Grand League specialists. All the yeps are coming out, ladies and gentlemen. It is that time now. As we're heading onto the ice after CP6 now, check your car in before the first red ball on the right hand side of your screen, and make sure to get a nice ice slide through here. Don't clip the tree like you see Otak do. Get a little bit of a wide line right here, expressive here for the bobsleigh run. Then onto the bump road. onto the reactor boost. Then you need around 300 kilometers an hour to clear that jump over the chicane, then onto the dirt loop, and then the identity section. 350 kilometers an hour, the speed of the first jump. You're gonna have to release a fair bit to keep your line low, although Mudda doesn't give a shit. He goes full speed. He goes on 280 for the second jump, doesn't clip the booster, keeps a nice straight line, and then onto the final turn where you gotta chuck your car in early and get a nice ice slide at the end of it, and then straighten your car back up to go through the trees at the end that you're gonna see here and cross the start finish line to start a new lap. Good luck, have fun everyone. Map 4 underway for step 1 of the Open Grand League. So you can see the standings here as the result of the step. Cap, Snow, Dofalt, Legu, Mudda, Dark, Grenady, and Chalik, your top 10 at the moment. Your top 8 at the moment, Link, Binks, Carl. It is going to be really interesting to see how this will go at the end of map 4. I didn't really get a ranking rundown after map 3. It was a bit my bad, but at the end of this start, 30 seconds into the map, we see that Panda and Chalik are battling it out for first and second. Meanwhile, Snow and Dark are battling it out for P3, P4, and the P5. Chalik makes a mistake and touches the inside wall, and this will be down in the final part of the field as Panda and Snow again are battling it out. Otak and Dofalt and Chalik are rounding out the top 5 right now. We also see Link, Legu, and Binks battling it out for top 5. Grenady having a bit of a slow exit at the bobsleigh, and so he will be down in P13 and even P14 as NR tries to catch him back up onto the chicane jump right here. Nicely done here. Onto the tree jump from the helicam for the very first time right here. Panda firmly in the lead in front of Dofalt, Snow, Dark, and Chalik. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wozil in Cap 6 and 7. Mudda in P8. Legu, Link, and Carl, but Wozil has a bit of a sketchy landing and thus will be down in the down with the ice U-turn coming up. Panda, Dofalt, Snow, Chalik, and Mudda 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the moment as we head back to the regular cam. Mudda and Legu battling it out for P5 currently. Legu having the advantage. Mudda touching the ice a bit too much, allowing Cap to catch back up, and Dark as well. Meanwhile, it seems as though Legu have made a mistake and he's down in P8 and even P9 as Link and even Super Caliph have taken him, so that's not P9, that's P10. And Dark has made a bit of a mistake, so he's down in P9 now as Dark falls behind Legu. Now Binks in P11 is a bit too far to make any mistake. Ener has a bit of a trouble at the ending, and so Ener will be out of it, and he decides to retire as he sees that there might not be any salvage from that. So yeah, that's the DNF, second DNF of the step for this particular one. The first one for Ener. Wozil down in P15, 14 seconds down on P8, which is currently held by Snow in battle with Legu, Cap, and Legu and Cap at the moment for P8. There's still that points loss being operated. Cap could be set to lose his lead if he drops down to the bottom 8, so it's going to be really going to have to watch very carefully here on the behalf of Cap right here. Panda lifting a little bit, allowing Dofalt to move through, who kept it flat. Dofalt managing to clear barely through the trees onto the U-turn right now, onto the ice. Nice ice slide from Dofalt, much better than Panda, who's going to fall by the wayside and respawn. Dofalt inherits the lead, 118.071, fastest lap for Dofalt. Mudda up to P2, Carl up to P3, the 2006 World Champion taking some flying colors with that particular start, even though that ice line was not the greatest. Cap in P4, Legu, Snow, Binks, and Dark completed the top 8. Chalik is down in P9, P10 for Link, Rozzy, Panda in 11-12, Grenady down in P13. The wheel player from Wave Esport not looking pretty good at the not looking good at all at the moment. Meanwhile, Dofalt making a breakaway from Mudda, 1 second in front of the Australian as he tries to get himself ahead of the rest of the field and tries to catch back up to and trying to get back up into the lead position, potentially snatch the lead away from Cap at the moment, who's not in the position to keep his lead. Well, who is in the position to keep his lead at the moment, but Dofalt with the 2 extra points for fastest lap would be able to move with 2 points of a gap into the lead in front of Cap. So it's going to be interesting to see how the battle for fastest lap and for position will fare between everyone. Meanwhile, Panda is down in P12 with that unfortunate respawn. Mudda barely clearing between the cactus. That was really hot for the Australian out there, and he must be I'm guessing there are not pine trees there might be, but I'm guessing there are quite a few cactuses in the Australian outback, so I'm guessing he's familiar with those. That's a bit of a shitty Australian joke, but there you go. Dofalt ending into lap 4 with the 1:18, but then 1:17 from Chalik, who takes the fastest lap honors away from Dofalt. That could be not in favor of Dauphin at all if that trend continues, as he would be absolutely level on points with Dauphin, with Cap actually being ahead on countback of finishes, if I recall correctly. Chalik and Cap battling it out for P5. Meanwhile, Chalik tries to catch back up to Cap and overtake him. Snow is ahead in P4. Carl up to P3, the B-Genius driver, looking pretty good at the moment, trying to catch back up to Mudda. He's 1 second down on the Australian at the moment, heading onto the ice rink. Oh, that ice slide, though, is looking pretty good from Mudda. Not so good from Carl, has close to 0 speed at the entry to the bobsleigh. So does Snow, but Cap has more speed than Snow, and he moves up to P4. So these could be cementing his lead a little bit further from Dauphin, who's going to try to get as much points as he can on the board to try and catch back up to Cap and try to take the lead away from Cap at the moment. Meanwhile, Mudda heading into the jump section for the 4th time, looking good. Dauphin looking good as well in the lead. Really low clearance here from Dauphin. Carl in P3, dropping a bit of time compared to the rest. Snow catching back up to the 2006 World Champion in P4. Cap with more speed than Snow and more speed than Carl. Will he be able to catch up to P3? Not quite. He's still able to keep the fight rolling. But yeah, he gets overtaken by Snow in the end before the first checkpoint. Thankfully, he should be able to catch him back up. But Carl catching a bit too much on this Snow on the inside. And thus he's down in P4. Snow moving up into the podium position. 2 podium finishers for Outer World, with Dauphin currently in the lead in front of Mudda into the penultimate lap. 1:18.123. Mudda being the fastest man on the circuit, and lap number 4 still quite a few ways away from the fastest lap, which is still credited to Chalik at the moment. Chalik currently sitting in P6, trying to catch back up to the 2006 World Champion, who's in a battle of in his own with Cap for the benefit of P4. Cap overtaking him at the ice slide before getting himself onto the bobsleigh, and that's a pretty good line from Cap, even though he's got slightly less speed at the exit than Carl, so the battle still rages on for the benefit of 4th position. Snow in 3rd place in behind Mudda, 1.86 seconds behind the leader, Dauphin, who's heading into the identity for the penultimate time. Meanwhile, towards the back end of the pack, Panda, who looked so strong at the beginning, is down in last place, well, last runner anyway, battling it out with Otak for the benefit of P14. He's still set to lose some points, and Legu is down in 9th place and could be set to lose at least 14 points in there, with 29 points being there before the finish. Meanwhile, at the front, let's actually see. Oh, Mudda's made a mistake, and thus he's down in P5, P6 even, as yeah, Cap, Snow, Carl, Chalik have overtaken him. The Australian has made a huge mistake that I didn't catch on camera. I'm really sorry about that. And he still remains in the top 8, thankfully. But yeah, that 2nd place goes down the drain on the final lap. 1:17.362 for Chalik right now in P4 at the moment, battling it out for P4 with Super Karlouf. His teammate Snow currently battling it out with Cap from KWK Esports for P2 at the moment. 1:18.001. Snow was the fastest man on track on lap 5, but still nothing to dislodge his teammate at the fastest lap charts. Meanwhile, Cap and Snow, the battle still rages on. Cap being overtaken by Snow, but Snow has less speed into the bobsleigh part, so that could give another lease on life for Cap in the ending of this map. Meanwhile, Dauphin, 2.6 seconds up the road, is looking to save this one quite brilliantly here. Brilliant performance from the Belgian. He's going to score his map win right here. First jump done. He just needs to clear the final 2 jumps and get himself a nice final clearance of the trees. Oh, he clips it barely. Thankfully, he shouldn't lose too much speed. Snow respawns. Cap is up into P2. And Dauphin onto the ice slide. He will be able to get himself into 1st place and win the map. Cap into P2, Mudda up to P3 after a stunning comeback. Snow down in P4, Chalik 5th, Super Karlouf in P6, Link is in P7, Dark will finish in P8 if everything goes well. Yeah, Dark in P8, then Legu will lose 50% of his points, finishing in P9, Razi P10, Binks forced to respawn. And so there's going to be quite a bit of time before we see other people finishing. Binks forced to respawn again, allowing Otak to move through into 11th position. Actually, Panda with their Supreme Ice Line moves up into P11 at the line. P11. Otak fails to finish. Binks up into P12. Otak should be able to finish, and Wuzel as well. Otak P13, Wuzel P14, and Grenady down in P15. Last finisher, and there, having retired, will lose half of his points. At the end of this map, it seems as though 50 points will not be enough for Dauphin, who moves up into 2nd place, but Cap retains the lead with 55 points. Snow in 3rd place with 46, Mudda 4th with 40, and Dark 5th with 31 as we head into the 3rd and final stage. 4 points loss for the bottom 8. And we're going to get a bit of a break, which is quite convenient actually, because throat is starting to run dry a little bit, so I'm gonna take this opportunity to rehydrate. Keep yourself hydrated, folks. I'm just gonna do a little tweet to promote the stream here. Sorry, I'm doing my little shield here because I want to attract more people. You know, I want to make sure that they discover how I can do as a caster. But yeah, some of you may already know what I'm. Most of you already know what I'm capable of due to that casting gig in TMGL. But still. Okay, so I'm just gonna drop that link in Twitch chats. If you guys have Twitter, make sure to basically share that around, retweet it, and do whatever you want with it. And yeah, let's try to get as many people as we can into the stream for the third and final stage, the final 2 maps of this Open Grand League first step. So as we head back into the in-game ranking for now, whilst the pause is underway, we're currently seeing the following order. 55 points for Cap, who takes the lead, 5 points ahead of Default in second place, 46 points for Snow in third place, 2 Otterworld drivers in the top 3, and all 4 of them are in the top 6 at the moment. Mudda is in P4 with 40 points, 31 points for Dark in P5, Tjalek 6th with 27 points, 21 points for Link in P7, 8 points for Legu in P8. Carl in P9 with 18 points, then 10th and 11th we find Binks and Grenady with 10 points both, then we see Razi 12th with 9 points, Panda 13th with 8 points, 7 points for Wozil in P14, P15, Otak with 6 points, and 5 points for NR in P16. Thank you very much. Alright, we are back with the final phase coming up, with the final 2 maps coming up, and map 5 is of course going to be Halfpipe by Kisla, where we saw a huge battle in the Trackmania Grand League between Spam and Scrappy, as well as Papu for the overall victory, and it was Spam who emerged the victor by 1/100th of a second at the line. And there we go, you can see it on the left-hand side of the totem. Bottom 8 is no points at the end of the cumulative 0 points before they get the points for the finishing position. As we head back to the Helicam for another time here in this step, we're currently seeing everybody fairly grouped at the start. No big mistakes so far, which could still happen for some people. Currently end up bringing up the Rapanda, has a bit of a weird exit through there. Will he be able to clear the jump though? He's forced to go the safe way and drops even more time, as we see that Legu, Mudda, and Tjalek are currently in the top 3 right now, and dragging up the rear as well, being left behind by the rest of the pack, which is currently being tail-ended by Snow. Snow trying to catch back up to the rest of the field. Oh, it seems the Otak has been a bit of a mistake as well, and there is able to catch back up to that. The train is starting to widen a bit. Here we go, the dip. 220 kilometers an hour needed to clear the jump right here. Second jump, Mudda clearing it, Legu clearing it, but does clip the edge, and thus will be down in P12 as a result of that, as we see that Mudda and Grenady are in 1 and 2, Dark in P3, Link and Tjalek 4th and 5th, Razi in P6. So far, we're seeing a pretty good pecking order. Cap, meanwhile, is down in P10, rattling out for P9, and he is at top 8 in sight, so nothing is lost right now for Cap at the end of first lap as we go through the identity. Transfer jump nicely negotiated by Cap compared to Carl. Legu also coming back strongly here on that transfer jump identity, the Tony Hawk identity, I guess we could call it. Cap up to P7 as we see that Snow's made a big mistake and thus is down in P13. Mix is down in P9. Currently the highest profile, the 2 highest profile players, second and third in the standings right now, could be set to lose points, with Dofald and Snow in 11th and 13th respectively. They got 50 and 46 right now. Meanwhile, Mudda and Tjalek in 1st and 2nd, with Razi in P3. Cap still able to retain his lead at the moment as he is in the butter zone. Should I say, as we head back to the Helicam. You can see that the gaps have spread out quite a fair bit. 8/10 between 1st and 8th, but then 3.7 seconds between 9th and 16th as Grenady made the mistake, and he is down in P14 and even P15. Grenady forced to respawn, he's dead last. Grenady is down in last place. We head on to the dip for Mudda. Dark and Rozzy at the moment. Mudda clearing the first jump nicely. Second jump cleared for Mudda as well. Dark and Rozzy battling it out for second and third. Carl at 15 P4 actually moving up into the battle for second position with Dark and Rozzy looking really strong out there. Rozzy is the one currently having nothing to lose with 9 points only scored on the board. Binks also has nothing to lose with P10. Dofal is going to be looking to get into the top 8, and Cap, our leader, could be set to lose all of his points. Chalik, though, has made a huge mistake, and he's down in... Snow is past Panda as well. Enter past P13, P14 even. Mudda is in a... Oh, what happened to Mudda? Yeah, Mudda is down in first place. Chalik, yeah, Chalik is way down the order. Panda, meanwhile, takes the fastest step with 123.041. Dark inheriting the lead, battling it out with Mudda for the lead, actually. And Carl is battling it out with Rozzy for third position. Binks up into P5, Dofalt in P6, Cap in P7, and Link in P8. So right now, looking pretty good. Although 46 points for Snow currently in P10, he could be set to lose all of them. Grenady is going to be needing a banger last map, or is many mistakes in the top 8 to actually be able to catch back up. Meanwhile, the top 3 fight is looking pretty spicy as we see Mudda, Dark, and Rozzy. Mudda, Dark, and Rozzy, yeah, battling it out for the top, for the lead at the moment. With Carl a bit further behind, keeping tabs on that battle, trying to take advantage of a mistake by anyone else. Dofalt and Binks, meanwhile, are battling for P5 at the moment. The dip cleared pretty much well from the top 3, with Carl landing a bit early. Ed, too early for Dofal, it seems like, who got overtaken by Cap. Dofal down in P7, Link in P8. Woozle and Snow 9th and 10th. Snow potentially losing 46 points right now, looking super close right here. Meanwhile, Mudda pulls ahead of the lead in front of Rozzy. Dark in P3. Got overtaken by Rozzy, the Croatian, before the transfer, but really nice transfer from Dark with super carrying speed. And Rozzy is down in 4th place. Dark gets overtaken, and Super Karlouf, the 2006 World Champion, has taken the lead. Mudda has a really dodgy landing at the ending of the identity, and thus he's down in P5 and even P6. Carl taking the fastest lap, not quite. Panda has the Grenady with the fastest lap with the 122.509. Grenady has nothing to lose now. He tries to get for the banger fastest laps. Mudda down in P7 after the dodgy exit of the identity, and 2006 World Champion Carl, of his real name, Dorian Vallée, is up into the lead. Rozzy in 2nd place for Loud Esport, and Binks for Team Exalty is P3. Dark and Dofalt in 4th and 5th for Team Outer World. Mudda down into P6, battling it out with Link for P6, actually getting overtaken. And Cap currently right on the edge of the top 8. Legu currently waiting to pounce and trying to put the pressure on the KWK Esport driver to make him lose all of his points. Meanwhile, at the front, Carl, ooh, that was a really sketchy landing from here. Binks in 2nd position, although the landing is a bit slow for him. He gets overtaken by Dark and Rozzy, so he's down in P4, although he keeps tabs on the battle for 3rd and 2nd position at the moment. Ah, shit, I don't have any mods. Okay, sorry for the chat message, guys. Meanwhile, Cap in top 8, but he's looking really slow at the entry to the identity, so that could be leaving the door open for Legu to actually catch back up. Meanwhile, Carl has taken the lead from Binks, Rozzy, and Dark, and he's heading into the penultimate lap looking really solid on pace. Dofalt in P7 right now, and Link and Mudda battling it out for P5. Dofalt has made a mistake, and thus Cap overtakes him and secures his spot in the top 8. Meanwhile, he puts Dofalt at dire risk for the top 8 position right now. He could still lose 50 points if Legu comes back alive. Carl looking pretty strong out there, still looking good for scoring some decent points if he manages to keep up that pace like that. Rozzy, Dark, and Binks 2, 3, 4 at the moment. Mudda in P5, a bit too far away to be of any threat to the top 2 fight at the moment. Link in a bit of a pickle right there, trying to catch back up to Mudda, but he's pulling away currently. The Australian in P5, P6 for Dark, 7 and 8 are 1 and 2, yeah indeed, and P3's in P15 Deluxe. So yeah, it's not looking good for Snow, who's still going to be losing 46 points at the end of it all. Meanwhile, and towards the front still Carl, Binks, actually Binks and Rozzy overtaking Dark, so Dark down in P4, Binks inheriting 2nd place, Rozzy 3rd, Mudda in P5, again too far away from making anything open. Hey, full stop Binks! What happened to Mudda? Mudda's down in P9! P10 even as Ennard overtakes him. Legu up into P... Mudda, what happened to him? The full stopping was absolutely not warranted. Meanwhile, Binks tries to catch back up to Super Karlouf in 1st place. It seems as though he's managing to make that happen. Rozzy as well is joining him into the fight to catch back up to the Frenchman. Oh! Carl's full stop picked as well. Lead change. Rozzy moving up into 1st place. The man with potentially one of the least point scores. is up into the lead. Binks in second position, Dark in third, Carl in P4, Link, Default, Cap, and Legu round out your top 8 at the moment, and they're in ninth. Mudda in 10th, he's 2 seconds down on top 8. This is looking pretty dire for Mudda, who's had such a strong step. He's gonna be dropping all of his points potentially in case there is no way to catch back up to Legu. He's gonna lead his lucky stars to be with him and pray for Legu to make a mistake if he is have any chance of getting back into the top 8 anytime soon. Meanwhile, at the front, Rozzy, Binks, and Dark. 1, 2, 3. Binks getting overtaken by Dark for second position. Onto the dip for the final time for Rozzy, Dark, and Binks. Looking pretty good. Link in 4th. Carl in 5th. Default 6th. Cap 7th. Legu in P8. And yeah, and now even overtaking Mudda. So yeah, this is going to be looking to be game over in this step for Mudda at this point right here. After that full stop pick in this part right there. That full stop pick right here cost him everything, right? And everything right here. Rozzy, Binks, and Dark. 1, 2, 3. Oh, what happened to Dark? Oh, I thought he messed it up, but no. Rozzy will be able to get his first map win of the Grand League Fall 2020 season and takes the lead win on half-pipe. Binks inside. No, actually, Binks with the slow landing gets overtaken by Dark for second place. Binks 3rd, Carl 4th, Default 5th, Link 6th, Cap 7th, Legu 8th, Mudda down in P9, and they're 10th, Panda 11th, Otak 12th, Snow 13th, Wuzil 14th, Chalik 15th, and Grenady in P16, and yeah, unfortunately for Mudda, that all unraveled. There we go, that's a ban. Ban the spammer, ladies and gentlemen. 62 points for Cap, 59 for Dolphon in second place, 45 for Dark in third as we head onto the third and onto the sixth and final map of this step, and it is Switch Bridge by Firestorm to close it off. Quick recap, full standing recap before we head into the final map. Cap leading the step with 62 points, Dolphon 59 points for him in second position, 45 for Dark in third, 29 equal for Rozzy and Link in fourth and fifth, 28 for Carl in sixth, 26 for Legu in seventh, 22 for Binks in eighth, and 5, 4, 4, 3, 3, 3, 2 for Mudda, Ener, Panda, Otak, Grenady, Wozil, Snow, and Chalik in that order. Yeah. It is going to be pretty dire. It looked pretty dire at the end with that mistake from Mudda before the final lap. It has well and truly put paid to any chances of a really strong points finish. Meanwhile, Cap, it's pretty much all benefit for him. And Dolphal, 59 points for Dolphal, 62 for Cap, who's looking pretty strong out there. All he needs to do is basically bring this one home. Bring this one home, sorry, to get himself a really good head start in this season of the Grand League. Switch Bridge by Firestorm to complete the map platform jump right here, which we saw some people fail a little bit earlier in the qualification session, but also saw Tweet fail, unfortunately, on our stream in the Grand League. Then jump down towards the bumper road, then use the bumper road as a ramp to get onto the grass, onto the identity. Then jump early to go through both poles, then another early jump to go through both poles, get to the inside of the grass, then go outside of the poles, then go back towards a slightly wider line here, through the poles at the exit, and then across the start-finish line to start a new lap. Dirt drift sent him too wide. He was laughing about it though? Okay, so yeah, but still, that is a devastating thing to see for a top points contender like Mudda. Anyways, sixth and final map about to get underway, guys. Here we go. Can we get some hype in chat? Bring your energy for the players. They're gonna need it as we see that it's the final map of the step. Last map belief. Here we go. Indeed. So, heading back to the helicamp for the final time. It seems that we had a late starter. We had a late starter in the person of Wozil, but still not really what you want to see. Wozil had a bunch of it seems that we had technical issues on behalf of Wozil, so yeah, not looking good for the Frenchman. Meanwhile, Chalik, Snow, and Legu 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Default in P4, Rozzy, Cap, Panda, and Grenady in the top 8 at the moment as we're heading into the second half of the track. Currently Cap in P9 with 62 points, trying to catch back up to the top 8. He's currently in the top 8, but Carl tries to have a say about that in the early parts as we head into the identity for the first time right here. Wozil is down 40 seconds. He might as well have a DNF on this, and since he might not be able to actually recover from that, even though he only had 3 points to his credit, it's still definitely gutting to see that happen. Oh, what happened? A mistake from Ener. It seems that we had a mistake from another man. It was Razi, one of the leaders, is down, and Dofeld is down as well, so he's down in P13, not looking good. 45 points, 29 points. The big point score could set to be dropped right here. Carl moving up to P8, battling it out with Dofeld at the moment. Actually, he's down in P11. My bad, my bad. Meanwhile, Grenady tries to protect his top 8 position, although Ener, he's trying to have a huge say about it. Look at those point scores at the bottom. 10th Dark, 11th Dofeld, 12th Carl, Razi 14th, P15 for Binks. Big pointers down already, yeah, indeed. Cap is in P5, but he might not be safe for long. Link currently trying to catch back up to him. Meanwhile, Mutta is in lead in front of Panda in 2nd position. Snow and Chalik in 3rd and 4th for Team Outer World at the moment. Cap is in P5, looking pretty strong out there with Link in P6 trying to challenge him. 2 really high-skilled players on there, 2 really competitive players in the French team are duking it out with one another. Enter in P7, Legu down in P8, Dark in P9. Binks and Grenady having made a mistake, so he's down in P14. So yeah, Grenady had nothing to lose, but yes, still not really looking, not really what you want to do for here. As you see up ahead is Wozil, but since he had a bit of a trouble at the start, he is currently a lap down on Mutta, who's gonna about to send him a lap down actually. Here we go, Mutta, just 1 to 2 seconds down on Wozil here, about to put a lap on the Team Game Mode player. And yeah, Dofeld not having a good step. He might lose all these points. That might be game over for Dofeld. 110.799. The fastest lap right now for Mutta, who's still chasing Wozil right now to put him a lap down. Panda is up into P2, half a second down on the leader. Then Snow, 1 second down on the leader in P3. Then we find Link and Cap in 4th and 5th, Legu 6th, Chalik and Dark in 7th and 8th at the moment, as we're going to be heading back to the Helican to see if the gaps have widened. Yeah, Dofeld is way far down on the rest of the pack, let alone Wozil, who's about to, again to get a lap down on Mutta. Yeah, blue flags. I think we should have blue flag signs added into the game. Helis, if you're listening, for people that are getting lapped in TMGL, can we get blue flags and store the flag code of FIA, please? Thank you. Okay, thanks, bye. Okay. Mutta in first place, 4/10 in front of... oh no, Mutta with the full stop pick into the pole! He's forced to respawn that. Thankfully, he's not lost too much. Well, he's lost a fair bit, it must be said. He's down in P10 behind Super Karlouf, but what the hell happened there? And Carl having a really dodgy landing as well, so that's going to be permitting Mutta up into P9, but 1.9 seconds down on the leader on the top 8 at the moment, which is currently Link and Ener battling it out with each other. 111.198, the fastest man on track on lap 3 was Legu, currently sitting in P4. Meanwhile, Cap in P3, looking safe and sound in 3rd position as Wozil made another mistake, allowing himself to get lapped by Panda, Snow, and Captain and other people behind. Now Mutta is going to try as hard as he might to catch back up to Legu and Link in 7th and 8th respectively, as he tries to get himself into the top 8 at least once in the final stages. Panda with 4, Snow with 3. Some of the lower scorers are looking good. Chalik with the least amount of points in the step so far with 2 points scored after map 5 is looking pretty strong in P5. Up ahead are his teammate Dark in 3rd, 2nd place teammate Snow, and then Cap in P4 right ahead of him, battling it out with Dark for P3. Cap really wants to get his points for 3rd position, even though he should be looking at actually safing this one home. He might be confident enough in his pace and consistency that he's fancying a bit of a fight for top placings. Although with that said, he had a bit of a bad landing, and thus Chalik overtakes him for P5. It's a 1, 2, 3 for Otterworld, as Panda seems to have made a mistake. Yes, indeed. He's down in P11, promoting Mutta up into P8 indirectly. So Mutta looking to be still safe in P8. 110.850. He is the fastest man on track by a long shot, as Ener has made a mistake, and Super Karlouf as well, as he gets demoted down in P8, and Link in P7. Actually, Link down in P8 as Carl overtakes him for P7, and Mutta up into P6, catching back up to Legu. Legu with less speed than Mutta. Mutta making the overtake seem easy. He's up into P5 before the wall ride. The flying Australian penguin looking really good right here. The Aussie player is looking extremely good on this final lap, despite not having the best point score at the moment. Cap trying to catch back up to Chalik. Dark getting overtaken by Cap for P3. Chalik under threat from Cap for P2. Meanwhile, Snow is controlling the race from the front. 1.3 seconds, 1.4 seconds even in front of his teammate Chalik. Meanwhile, Mutta in P5 looking to save this one out. Going for an early jump through the poles right here. Second jump Pretty clean landing through there for the Australian, looking really good out there as Dark and Cialek have managed to overtake Cap. 1, 2, 3 again for the Underworld team as we head into the final lap. 1:10.610, fastest lap for Mudda, looking super strong as he tries to catch back up to Cap right now. No, he goes for a full 180 at the CP. Thankfully, he should be able to get it back going. He's still in P8, but Ener is going to try to catch back up thick and fast. That's pretty much a heart attack here for Mudda, I'm imagining right here, after the pace that he dropped. 1, 2, 3, you can see first place for Snow, 1.6 seconds in front of his teammates, but then Cap in fourth position, trying to catch back up to the two Otterworld players as we're seeing him catching back up slowly but surely. Cialek stinking the landing, Dark as well, so no mistakes for him. Mudda in P8. Oh, Bink's not making the jump, so he's down in P7 automatically, and he might be down to P9 even. No, he's still in P8. So yeah, P7 for Mudda after the mistake from Binks. So yeah, we're gonna get Snow potentially winning 1.5 seconds ahead of his teammates Dark and Cialek. That's actually checking on the leader at the moment. Snow coming across the final section and across the start-finish line to win the race for Otterworld. Dark is in P2. Cialek makes it a 1, 2, 3. Cap in P4 will win the step. Leggy P5, Link P6, Mudda finishing a creditable 7th. Ener finishing in P8. Panda 9th, Grenady 10th, Super Carlouf 11th, Otak 12th, Duval 13th. The second place entering this map is out of it. 14th place for Binks and 25th and final and 15th place for Razi. The final finisher, Wozel, having DNF'd after his earlier troubles. So there you go. Indeed, 2 points for Razi at the end of it, but yeah, Cap wins this first step with 72 points on the board here after 6 maps. 59 for Dark in second, 37 for Link in third, 35 for Leggy in fourth, and completing the top 5 is Snow with 33. So yeah, 10,000 points for the win for Cap. Dark second place, and Link completes the podium. 1, 2, 3 for France, and yeah, a huge stepping stone for France. Panda taking the fastest lap on the dots right here with a 1:10.492 here on this map. Looking pretty good indeed. But yeah, Cap, Dark, Link, Legu, Snow, Cialek, Mudda, Ener, your top 8 then. Panda, Grenady, Super Carlouf, Otak, Dauphin, Binks, Razi, and Wozel complete your challenger standings after step 1 of the Open Grand League.